What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, hit that subscribe button down below and go follow me on Instagram. It's where I post all my content. So that's what I'm doing here, except I'm starting out with a sketch. Always start out with a sketch. It's like your blueprint, you know? You don't ever want to start with a big old fat marker and hope your line proportion is right. So always start with a sketch, but that's what I came out with. That is what I'm going to go over with Sharpie now. Also, to make this easier on myself, I mean, the Among Us character isn't super complicated, but always work in layers. So like my first layer is my pencil. My second layer, I'm going to go in now with a small Sharpie. So I'm just starting out with his face mask. Face glass. Again, just using that skinny Sharpie, just creating like a semi circle. Yeah, I don't know. It's like a square with super soft corners. I wouldn't even call it a square. Like one side is squared and the other side is kind of rounded. So once you get that, just start up, go up his head, kind of like the letter C. You know, if you cock your head sideways, that kind of looks like the letter C there. And just follow it down the rest of his back as straight as you can get it with like the slightest curve. So like not completely straight, so just like the slightest curve you can get that all the way around. Straight across for that good thigh gap. Got that good thigh gap. Gonna go in and outline the backpack. And again, I'm going over with the small Sharpie. That way I can make sure my proportions are correct. So I start with a pencil, use a very small Sharpie, and then I'm about to go over it with the fat Sharpie before I color it. So just going back to the face glass and then going down his body, down his leg, up into the groin, to the thigh gap. So if you need to pause the video, get these proportions before you start coloring. And now, like I said, I'm gonna go in with the fatter Sharpie now and really nail those proportions with the thicker lines. You want those big sexy lines. Definitely, pronounces your illustration better and just makes everything look sharp, you know what I mean, more held together. Black lines matter, you know? So I'm literally doing the same steps I did before. Started with the face glass, like a, kind of circled on one side, square on the other, and then just going and straightening out my lines, seeing if I can't get them crispy smooth. Going down the front of his body, again, not completely straight, like slightly curved. Back up to the leg, across the thigh gap. So we finished the third layer. Of course, we went in with the pencil to make sure that we got the blueprint that we needed to go in with the small Sharpie to make sure we get the proportions we need to go over it with the big one. Make sure that we have the thick lines that we need before we go in and color. Currently, I'm using the Ohuhu alcohol-based markers, and the one thing that I always recommend whenever you're not doing too much blending, just trying to like color a flat picture like this, is to work in small circles. Don't really go like left and right, up and down. Kind of work in small circles. That way you can evenly apply the ink and keep saturating the page, the area that you're trying to color in. Keep saturating it until it's the darkest color, like the darkest tone of that actual color, so that you don't see a lot of like splotchiness. So before I go over his darker like outlines with a darker purple, I'm gonna go in and color his face glass. And I'm gonna make the like little, I'm taking my blue for the glass and making like a stretched out long oval there to get the shimmer down for his face plate, and just filling it in and leaving like an L-shaped white area down there by the left corner so that you can color that in with a darker blue or like a darker gray. For this, I'm going with a darker gray. That's what the picture looks like most to me. So going in and just finishing off that highlight on his glass plate with that dark gray. Yup. And so filling in the bottom there with the gray. This is about the only time I use the chisel tip on these alcohol markers, is when I'm trying to be more precise like this. So wanted to use a purple Sharpie for this because it is a little more opaque and it's not going to blend into the lighter purple as much. So I'm using a purple Sharpie and just going over him, starting out with the backpack, and I guess just shading in the shadow of the character, and making sure that these lines are really straight, really proportionate to what the picture looks like. Again, you can pause this at any time if you need to. If you're following along and you want to pause it, kind of replicate what I'm doing, go for it. But just fill that baby in. Make sure that it's a clear distinction between the light purple and the dark purple. You got to get that good contrast. But there you have it, the purple character from Among Us. That's about it. You can continuously go over your lines because they are thick boys. So you can go over your lines to get those lines thicker, and just make sure that they're proportionate all the way around. But those are the tools I use for this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, comment down below. Until next time, peace.